Guys, I was Unleashed here today, and I know what you're thinking after reading that title of the video. Has this guy run out of ideas? Seriously, grass? Guys, hold on. Trust me, I haven't run out of ideas, and by the time this video is done, you'll eventually come to a realization. See, obviously, we're back with another video on Sonic Frontiers, and we're going to be talking about the grass theory. So, without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's take a look at the theory at hand. Onto Twitter, we Sonic Rush. So this theory is by a user on Twitter called LaserIsOnline. His link will be in the description down below. So then, let's just get straight into the theory. Okay, so hear me out. I know this is going to sound completely insane, and if you don't believe me, I completely understand. This theory does make some bold assumptions and uses some slightly far-fetched tactics, but just stick around and read the whole thing. Sonic Frontiers revealed some in-engine gameplay at the Game Awards. Let's take a look at some of the screenshots, and then Laser links to this specific screenshot, so take a look at it for like 5 seconds or whatever. Yeah, very nice screenshot, I must say. Now take a look at the grass in this. It's important to note that this game's art style is a complete departure from what we've gotten in the past. This is oddly detailed and far less stylized world than what we're used to seeing in Sonic. This is something you'd expect in a game with humanoid characters such as Breathe of the Wild, it's supposed to say breath obviously, and Genshin Impact. But what if I told you that this is the exact reason this theory exists? This grass wasn't made for Sonic Frontiers, it was made for the Phantasy Star Online titles, particularly Phantasy Star Online New Genesis. And then he gives me 2 of these screenshots, and I think this first one is way more comparable to the Sonic Frontiers screenshot, because if you look at the grass in these 2 screenshots here, they look actually quite similar. And I know it's because the lighting looks a bit different, but even just take a look at the detail of the grass, it looks really similar. And then you have this second screenshot here. Now we can't go into detail about why this is possible, but this video by YouTuber Monocryptic pretty much sums it up. And then he links Mono's video down there. And by the way, if you haven't subscribed to my boy Mono already, what are you doing? Go to over his channel right now. Absolute legend, I must say. This video, with evidence, basically proves there's a high possibility that Sonic Frontiers may be built off the engine used in this game. Also, yes, Phantasy Star is a Sega property for those who may not know. Now, after I acquired this knowledge, I decided I'd do some of my own digging, and decided to compare the grass assets in PSO2 and Frontiers. The first thing I did was compare the lengths of the grass blades. What immediately caught my attention was the blades of grass being almost identical in length. As someone who's dabbled in game development, I cannot stress enough how big of a clue this is. This rarely happens unless assets are being reused or slightly retweaked. And of course, this would make sense. Sega owns both IPs, and it's likely some team members will be working on both. After this shocking discovery, I decided to compare the HTML/hex color codes of the grass. Since the PSO2 image previously takes place in lesser lighting, the codes obviously wouldn't be the same, so I had to look for one of PSO2 where the images are in similar lighting. And then he links these 2 specific screenshots, one of PSO2 and then one of Frontiers. Bingo! The grass is the exact same. Now there are bound to be some inconsistencies due to probably an updated lighting engine being used in Sonic Frontiers. It's likely Frontiers may be running on an edited version of the Hedgehog engine too. Some rumours claim the Phantasy Star Online 2 runs on the Hedgehog engine, and that is actually confirmed info, it's on the Wikipedia right now. All of this considered, I would like you all to keep an open mind as I continue. And I've skipped a bit of the information because it was kind of irrelevant, and it's kind of just a bit of him just talking about how this whole thing is speculation, because by the way, this entire thing is speculation, not confirmed info. That's why it's called a theory. My next point of reference was a skybox, sky texture. Now cross-referencing sky textures is incredibly difficult to do, and requires an obscene amount of observation and pattern recognition, but I don't think the skybox is being reused directly either. But then, I noticed something in the Sonic Frontiers trailer, and then Laser links this screenshot here of it being nighttime in that canyon we all saw earlier, with that bridge on the top. This is something that isn't really being talked about all that much, but this basically confirms that Frontiers is going to have a real-time day/night cycle. Once again, PSO2 has this. It would easily make sense for them to just reuse that system since it works so well. Remember that to create an entirely new lighting system for a game is obviously expensive, and seeing as PSO2 supposedly initially ran on the first Hedgehog engine, which that is confirmed, it would only make sense for the day/night cycle to be reused from PSO2, with minor changes to be expected. Sonic Frontiers trailer is an early build, further proving grass theory. This information has been a game changer in my being able to add legitimacy to my admittedly watery theory. So recently, I saw a discussion on YouTube known as Unleash. Unleash sounds like a pretty cool guy, I mean. I think you should all subscribe to me, haven't already. Sounds like a pretty cool guy, I must say. Made a video about the Sonic model in Frontiers being a placeholder, and then he links Unleash's video. Once again, no idea who Unleash is, and if you haven't subscribed to me already, I recommend you go do that right now. A reasonable source confirms that the model is a placeholder, and that the footage from the Frontiers trailer in December is early build footage. Now if this is true, it would easily make sense as to why the engine is a modified version of the engine used in PSO2. As for now, this is probably what the case is. This raises a few questions such as 1. Is the Switch version going to be a cloud version? Most likely, seeing as PSO2's Switch version is cloud only, as well as how Frontiers has been marketed. 2. Why are early builds being shown off this close to the game's launch? My theory is trailer footage is repurposed from something else Sega may have wanted to show to perhaps investors, seeing as how there's an extended sequence of the footage that was shown on the Japanese website. And finally, 3. How will the day/night cycle be? Probably the same as PSO2's, with different time intervals. And that is pretty much it for the grass theory, so I'm going to give a huge shout out to Laser. Once again, his Twitter will be down below in the description. But anyways, what does this grass theory actually prove? Well, for starters, 1, it's most likely going to be built off the engine from Phantasy Star Online New Genesis. And from what I've heard and seen, the game has very fluid movement and it looks really good, especially being built off the first Hedgehog engine, not even the second one. But obviously, this could have its downsides, such as the Switch version might be a cloud version, because PSO2 on Switch is specifically only a cloud. There's no version that's actually made for the Switch. And if Frontiers is actually built off the engine from PSO2, Frontiers could have the same fate on Switch as it being a cloud version. Now overall, this would definitely affect Switch users, but if I'm being totally honest, that could be a good thing if you're playing the game on anywhere but the Switch, because it would mean that the game was being developed for PS5, basically next-gen consoles, would be held back by needing to be developed for the Switch and having to turn on the graphics and everything. So Frontiers is cloud on the Switch, the graphics are going to look phenomenal in that case, which is good to be honest. We don't want Sonic to be stuck back on next gen while everybody else is just moving forward with the graphics and everything. We always want Sonic to be on top of everything. And if Frontiers is going to be cloud on the Switch, but made for next gen, the game will look even better and we will be satisfied that Sonic games will at least look next gen. Anyways, that just wraps it for today's video. So yes, according to Laser's grass theory, Sonic Frontiers may be built off the engine for PSO2, which means that the game might be cloud on the Switch, or even have similar movement to PSO2. But what are your guys' thoughts on the grass theory? Do you think this is full of garbage, or do you think there's some actual concrete evidence to it? Let me know down below. Love to see what you guys have to say. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, especially that last one. Don't forget to become unleashed by hitting that join button down below. Remember, it is not necessary. And I will see you all next time. Peace!